Hey, what's up, friends? You get Gypsy back here today with my round 3 match in the Facebook Central Sun and Moon OU tournament up against 3D Steven. So at this point in the tournament, the teams are getting the kind of matches are getting more competitive. The kind of weaker players have been already eliminated from the tour, so it's the kind of more successful players advancing on, obviously. And yeah, this is definitely a threatening team we're facing up. As you can see, Hooper, like Diddy, Z-Move, Mance, Magena, the God, Lando. Gyarados, so you've got like fly spam there. That could be more than likely Mega Gyarados, was my thoughts going into this match. But I'm rocking a a really fun team built by my boy NJMP. You know, it's Smeagol, like Webb's offense, basically consisting of standard Mega Pinsir SD. Really nice like Dreadplate Bishop. Bishop hasn't really seen much usage this gen just because of the sucker nerf. But it's still a really solid mon. Nice way to chip down Mega Metagross, the God. And then we have Z-Move, Conversion Porygon Z, which is just the God. Then we have obviously Lead Smeagol, SD, Mimikyu, and the fabled Double Dance Zygarde, the God. So yeah, with E-Speed obviously to hit stuff like Greninja if I only have WEC 1 DD up. So this team is a lot of fun to use, and I'm going to show you why. So first off, we're going to lead off with Smeagol as he leads off with his Gyarados. Now, knowing like I said, like this guy's good. He looks at my team, assesses the fact that Smeagol is more than likely a lead set. Obviously, that's the only reason you run Smeagol, and he leads with Gyarados instead of leading with something like Hooper or Mance, who could potentially set up on it. He leads with Gyarados, which leads me to believe that he's more than likely got Taunt. As he is going to want to prevent me from getting hazards up. You'll notice he doesn't actually have a defogger, which is an interesting choice on his part, but something he actually recognized during the match. So I'm going to go for the Magic Coat turn 1, bouncing back the Taunt, as he does fire off the Taunt, and revealing that he is actually a Mega Gyarados, so good knowledge to know. That kind of confirms that his Salamence is more than likely Z-Move Fly. But yeah, we're going to go for the Magic Coat, bounce back the Taunt, and now I'm just going to fire up a Spore just in case he wanted to stay in and get waterfall damage when I go for the flinch and chipping down my Smeagol. I would have been able to get a Spore off and then set up my hazards, but he does just go out to Ferrothorn this turn, and I do go for the Spore, and that's fine. I can now begin to get up my hazards, so I throw up my webs. He's going to Gyro Ball here, knock me down to my Sash, and now I can get up my rocks, and we're looking pretty good because now Pinsir can come in and get a free SD up off on this Ferrothorn. He's just going to fire off a Leech Seed, so it's not free in that sense, but Leech isn't really too big of a deal. The fact that I've now got a +2 Pinsir means that his team is going to take a huge dent, really opening up the game for late game. SD, Mimikyu, Double Dance, Zygarde, and even my Sucker Punch from my Bishop. But yeah, we're going to fire for a return as he makes the switch out into his Landorus, getting the Intimidate drop and whittling me a bit with Rocky Helmet. But you guys can see return does a fuckload to this Lando. His helmet, so I know he's not Scarf, so there's no point in me going for quick attack here. I know I can outspeed and fire for return as he does pivot back out to Ferrothorn. Just getting some more damage off on me, wanting to get another attack Intimidate drop with his Landorus, as Ferrothorn does tank that +1 return, but he's now going to drop to the second. So this is looking in a really solid position because now Lando's going to come in and it's going to die, but I am going to get a bit whittled by the helmet. So I do have 1 hit left in me, but I'm only at neutral now. So that's, even though his Lando pivoted back in and out, trying to get the drops, I'm still at neutral. So this EQ to Magena is going to be doing a decent chunk. He is going to tank it and just click Volt Switch here, which confirms to me he's more than likely an Assault Vest variant, as you don't really see Volt Switch on like Trick Room or Carmine, or even like Shift Gear for that matter. So in comes Mance the God. I'm going to go out into my Mimikyu here because I do need to threaten this thing immediately. I can't let it start setting up. So I do just fire up the Play Rough. I Shadow Claw here. Reason I Shadow Claw is because I want to guarantee myself the win. Had I gone for Play Rough there and missed, he could have gone for the Earthquake and then Z Fly the next turn to take me out. What Shadow Claw does here, you see I crit. Without the crit, it would have done like anywhere from 40 to 50%. That then puts him in range to die to Shadow Sneak. If he doesn't die to Sneak, he dies to Sucker Punch or Extreme Speed from Zygarde, and Porygon and Bishop wrap this game up. So because the webs are up. So I just made my safest play there, and I do get a ton of damage off with the Shadow Claw, and I'm able to just take him out with Sneak that turn. So in comes the Gyarados, and this thing is basically just going to drop to a player up because Mimikyu is pretty strong with a Life Orb. And yeah, that is the match. That is round 1. He does just forfeit here, realizing that Magearna would have died to a Shadow Claw Life Orb, and Hooper obviously drops to everything. So that's game one. Pretty fast-paced game, but that's basically how matches go when you use like Webb's offense like this. But we're gonna jump into game two. Alright guys, so we are back with game two up against Steven. And yeah, we've got a pretty fun team this game. Again, another Riv team, another NGMP team. My man supplies me with the finest of teams. Rocking Specs, Togekiss, Scarf Lando, fairly bulky U-turn Sizz, Magma Trapping, Earth Power, Toxic, Stealth Rock Tran, Scarf Tapu Bulu, and Specs Ninja with U-turn. So this is a pretty fun team to use. Deals with Stall nicely because I have a Togekiss, and yeah, Ninja's a monster. You look at his team. Once I get rid of his own Lando, my own Scarf Lando is a really solid win condition if I can chip down Venusaur and Tapu Fini. Obviously, like Zygarde just drops to an EQ. Like Zygarde's frail as fuck. Magearna's not going to appreciate it, and Hooper just drops too. So if I can get my rock stuff and chip stuff like his Venusaur and the Lando, then I'm going to be in a pretty solid position to win with Lando. So I do lead off with my Sizzle, knowing I can get U-turn momentum on anything he wanted to lead with. If he wanted to lead with his own Lando, that would be a fine lead. However, a lot of people just lead Ninja and U-turn on opposing Landos switching out to their Finis. So I did think he may predict that, and had he led with his own Fini, I can U-turn out with my Sizz, which I did expect him to lead with his own Fini, predicting my Greninja. I can U-turn out and go into my Bulu and then make the double accordingly into Togekiss. You guys are going to see what happens. So we lead off with Sizzle, as he does lead off with Tapu Fini like I predicted, and now I'm just going to go for the U-turn here. We actually revealed to be fast in the Fini, so pretty slow Fini, pretty interesting. I got into Tapu Bulu here on his taunt. He may have taunted there, preventing me from going for like an SD or something like that, which is fair enough. Or he may have predicted something like my Togekiss or my Heatran to come in, like a Spit F Heatran to come in and set up rocks versus the Fini, or even like trap it with Magma Storm. But I do just go into my Bulu, and now I make the double here, going out into my Togekiss in case he wanted to go into his either his Venusaur or his Landorus. He does go out into his Landorus. Now he's actually going to stay in here and go for the rocks as I go for the Specs Air Slash. He actually outspeeds my Togekiss, and I'm max speed timid, so this reveals to me that he's definitely an offensive variant of Landorus. That Air Slash damage confirms it. He's more than likely a Z-move variant, and Togekiss is pretty important, so I'm going to switch out to my Sizzle here, knowing that I can tank a plus the Supersonic Sky Strike and knock him out with a Bullet Punch the next turn. As we do tank, and I get some grassy terrain back. Now I can just revenge him with a Bullet Punch. He stays in, makes the good play, just in case I decided to like roost up on his predicted switch out to something like Fini. But he doesn't really have the best of switch-ins to Sizzle. This is a really offensive team, and I actually outspeed and roost up on his Venusaur. If he doesn't press HP Fire, I roost up on the Fini, so I understand why he sacked off Lando there, just preventing me from potentially roosting up if I got cheeky. So he goes into his Zygarde. I'm just going to click Bullet Punch and get chip off on this, just putting it in definite guaranteed range of dying to my Lando's EQ. Now he actually goes to the Iron Tail here, predicting my Tapu Bulu, which makes a lot of sense because like if he clicks Banded 1,000 Arrows, I tank with ease and I get a big hit off on something on his team. So he's actually going to switch out here this turn, go into his Venusaur, as I do go for the double Bullet Punch in case he wanted to sack off his Zygarde. Either way, I get damage on something. Nothing really appreciates a Bullet Punch on his team, like even uninvested. Like this is a minimal invested Sizzle. It's got like, I think it's like Adamant with like 16 EVs. It's still pretty damn bulky, and it's still pretty damn offensive. And as you can see, Venusaur doesn't appreciate those Bullet Punches. So I'm going to roost up this turn as he does Synthesis up. If I lost my Sizzle here to an HP Fire, then I just brought in Togekiss and started clicking Air Slash, and his Venusaur is whittled, so it can't take 2 Scarf EQs later on in the match if it does come in, especially if I manage to get rocks up. So I was fine with the trade, but he does actually opt to heal up here. And I noticed that I outspeed, so now I can just go for the faster U-turn, preserving Sizz for like late game versus Magearna or Hooper. Obviously Mega Sizz is a pretty solid Magearna check, and I do have Heatran of my own, so now I'm going to go into Heatran on the HP Fire. We eat that up quite nicely, and now I can just click Magma Storm this turn, trapping the Fini in, wearing it down and setting up my own rocks, forcing him to defog if he wants to get rid of the rocks on his side of the field. So he's going to go for the Moonblast here, predicting my switch out into, I guess, Tapu Bulu here, but I do just stay in here as he does now go for the defog. this turn as I get some chip on him off with the Earth Power. This is fantastic, putting this thing in range of Lando. My own Lando is looking more and more threatening by the turn. His Venusaur is kind of like, his Venusaur's like chipped by U-turns at around like 70 or something like that. If I get rocks up, if I can keep rocks up, then he's definitely going to die to 2 EQs on the switch in. So he does go for the Surf here, which does 40%, but we are a Spit F Heatran, so we do tank quite comfortably. And he's just going to go for a Defog this turn, as I do go out into my Bulu here, wanting to preserve my Heatran just in case I need it for his Magearna, as well as his Venusaur. As now he's going to switch out into Venusaur as I predict this and go for the Zen Headbutt. So this is a Scarf type of Bulu, so it's not doing a ton, but it's doing enough to comfortably 2-KO the Venusaur on the switch. As Venusaur, you know, he's been making very aggressive predictions this game because I guess he kind of has to bring himself back in the game there. So he didn't know I was a Scarf Bulu, so he could have switched into Hooper had he known, but he kind of didn't really have any way of telling, because at that point in time a lot of people were still running Zen Headbutt for Venusaur. Venusaur went through like a really popular, it's still pretty popular now, but like around the time this match was happening, people were running Venusaur as a Bulu check, so I could have been like SD Zen Headbutt, which kind of explains maybe why he didn't switch out to Hooper there. Nonetheless, I'm going to switch out here, go into my Mega Sizzle, knowing I can tank anything the Super wants to go for, barring a Fire Punch or a Banded Hyperspace Fury, but I can just get the Bullet Punch off right here, putting him in again in guaranteed range of EQ. And yeah, now Lando is looking in a pretty solid position. I'm just going to U-turn here, just to scout what he wants to. If he wants to sack off Hooper there, then I evolved into Ash Greninja form. If he went out into Finny, then I got to click EQ with Hooper, with my Lando. But he does go out into Magearna, and I am just going to go into my Lando and press Earthquake as Finny comes in. And Finny's going to take 36, so he could have sacked off like Zygarde or Hooper, and then maybe come in and clicked Surf with Finny. Wouldn't have killed Lando because Lando is surprisingly bulky on the Spit F side, but it would have done a lot of damage, putting me in range of E-Speed from his Zygarde. So maybe he could have played around this Lando a bit better, but he did I guess kind of panic versus my Lando, as he does just sack off his Finny. Now in comes his own Zygarde, and he comes to the realization here that I am scarfed, and does proceed to forfeit. So it's a couple of quick games, like very fun teams by my boy, and yeah, some nice quick games for you guys. Hope you all enjoyed. Round 4 will be coming soon, and yeah, keep posted for that, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.